Okay, radian measure is a unit of angular measure. It's another way that we can measure angles in addition to degrees, and radians have no units. We're going to find it helpful to transition between degrees and radians to degrees. To switch between degrees to radians, we're going to multiply by pi over 180. So in example 2, letter A, we're going to write each degree measure in radians as a multiple of pi. So if I want to change 135 degrees to radians, I'm going to take 135 degrees and I'm going to multiply by pi over 180 degrees. When you multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So 135 times pi is 135 pi, all divided by 180. Okay, we're going to keep this as a fraction in terms of pi, and we need to simplify. Okay, you can simplify using a 4-function calculator or a scientific calculator. So I'm just going to use the fraction button on my scientific calculator, take 135 over 180, and when you hit equal to, it'll simplify it for you. So 135 over 180 is 3/4. So this is equal to 3 pi over 4 radians. Now again, radians have no units, so we do not need to label this radians. 3 pi over 4 is sufficient. Now in letter B, we have negative 3 pi over 4. This angle measure is in radians, and we are going to convert from radians to degrees. To convert, we multiply by 180 degrees over pi. So I'm going to take my angle measure, negative 3 pi over 4, and we're going to multiply by 180 degrees over pi to change this to degrees. Now I can simplify before I multiply, so notice there's a pi in the numerator and a pi in the denominator. That's equivalent to 1, and so we can mark those out. Okay. Now I believe 4 divides into 180, so I'm going to take 180 and divide that by 4, and I get 45. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 180 divided by 4 is 45. So this is equivalent to negative 3 times 45 degrees. So if I multiply negative 3 times 45, then this is equal to negative 135 degrees. So negative 3 pi over 4 radians is equivalent to negative 135 degrees. I would like for you to pause the video and try letter A, negative 60 degrees, and letter B, 4 pi over 3. You're going to convert the degrees to radians and the radians to degrees. When you finish, hit play, and I'll go through each of the 2 problems. Okay, you try letter A is negative 60 degrees. To change this to radians, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180 degrees. Now to change negative 60 degrees into a fraction, I can put that over 1. Now what I know first is that 10 divides into both negative 60 and 180. And if I multiply across, this leaves me with negative 6 pi over 18. Negative 6/18 reduces to negative 1/3. So this is negative 1 pi, or just negative pi, divided by 3. So negative 60 degrees is negative pi over 3 radians. In letter B, I'm given 4 pi over 3. There's no units, so this is radian measure, and I'm going to convert to degrees. And I do so by multiplying 4 pi over 3 times 180 degrees over pi. Okay. And again, I have a pi in the numerator and a pi in the denominator. And I do know that 3 can be divided into 180 degrees. I know 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 180 divided by 3 is 60 degrees. So in my numerator, I have 4 times 60 degrees, and my denominator, I just have 1. So there's no reason to include that. And multiply 4 times 60 degrees is 240 degrees. So 4 pi over 3 radians is 240 degrees.